Hey, good evening, good evening, good evening again. Just want to thank everybody for coming up and rocking with us for another episode of the Black Belt Experience. Uh, um, just excited again for another week. Got a lot of stuff that had happened in the Black Belt over the week, and a lot of things to talk about. Just this time, just to sit down and talk about it and make sure that we get some information out to some people. Because we have a lot of great things that are happening in the Black Belt, a lot of things that have happened and transpired this week. And we just again excited to be back before you. Very excited for another episode, right? This is season 4, episode 2. So this is the second episode in the week, and we're going to continue to keep going strong. We ask that for everybody that's going through things, we're going to start this off and not only acknowledging the impact that has happened in the Black Belt with the storms, but we just want to just thank everybody for what they do in the community and also for continued support. So we got some people scrolling in, and we're going to get right on with it. And we got my baby girl. She wanted to come and say hey to everybody.
Hi.
So how you what you want to say? You want to say anything to the people in the Black Belt? Gotta come down so they can see your face. You want to say anything to the people of the Black Belt?
How y'all doing?
You say how y'all doing? We had a real bad storm back home, tornadoes, and a lot of people. Some people got they had some people that got hurt real bad. Some people lost their houses, lost a lot of stuff. What you want to say to those people?
I hope y'all be okay and be safe though.
And be safe.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Okay. You want to say bye?
Bye.
All right. Late, baby girl. What's up? Go ahead and say. You got something to say? Go ahead and say it.
And good night.
Good night. Okay. All right.
Be safe.
All right. Good evening, Miss Magna. How you doing? Miss Alice Lawson. How you doing? Good evening to you. Miss Jones. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. We got Miss Belinda Smith. How you doing? Good evening. Good evening to you. Miss Rhines. How you doing, ma'am? Good evening to you. Oh, we got Sean Prince Bell. Hello to you. Hello. We got a lot of people tuning in. Miss Sheila Hall, hello to you. Thank you for tuning in. Appreciate you watching every week. Congratulations. Thank you. Sydney Jones said good evening, everyone. Hey, Ma, how you doing? Miss Elaine Harris said good evening, everyone. Miss Deborah Perkins said good evening. Good evening. We thank you guys so much, man. I mean, you guys know. And I let Nia know. Nia said, they say hello, beautiful. Say hello, Nia. Hey, how you doing, Miss Robinson? Good evening to you. Good evening. Miss Dorothy Jones tuning in again, faithfully tuning in from Tucson, Arizona. Joyce Jones said hello. And we got Miss Carolyn Richards said hello. Hey, what's going on, Miss Wiggins, Mary Jo Wiggins? Good evening to you. So we're just going to get right into it. We're going to go ahead on and start off with our sponsors, and we're going to share a lot of good information tonight. But our sponsors for the Black Belt, we have Kimmy's Corners Creation, was owned and operated by Miss Kimberly Evans. You can go check out her Facebook page. It's Kimmy's Corners Creation. That's scrolling down on the bottom, and or her website, www.kimmyscornerscreation.com. Also, next we have the the fellas. I know the fellas supposed to be coming in, but we got to keep this thing going. We have the T-shirt bar by Lakeisha Davis. It's that's owned and operated by Lakeisha Davis. She has 2 locations, one in Demopolis and one in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. If you have any ideas of any big T-shirts, any idea whatsoever, she made the shirt that I got on for my podcast right here, the Conversation 998. We got old Laramie. What's going on with you, Laramie?
Oh man, you got it.
Yeah. We in this thing. We in it to win it. Next, we got the Man of Valor, Greensboro, Alabama. They continue to do great things, and we're very proud of them. And they got a lot of stuff that they do in the community, and we just want to continue to salute them for the work that they do. Next, we have a Southern Bite restaurant, owned and operated by Lakeisha Davis, is in Tuscaloosa. It's getting ready to open. Man, they've been posting some pictures of some hot wings and some fries, and man, that food look delicious. I know people have been sharing it. People went by and said that food is delicious, and I'm not shocked at all. So that's another option we got in the Black Belt to go and show support. And last, we got Be Great Apparel. Go check out their Facebook page. That's Mr. Page, Miss Valeta's son. Be Great Apparel. and you go to his Facebook page, Be Great. We're going to share it on the Black Belt Experience page, so you can go see it and let them know that you heard it here on the Black Belt. A young man had his own apparel line and doing what he have. Miss Maynard, hey, the fellas, that's Laramie, he got in here, and she said the ladies in the house, the fellas, we got to come. And hey, Miss Jones said, prove me wrong. So, but again, we want to just, I wanted to get on with that. And we had a lot of things. I know we had a lot of announcements that I want to get through and make sure we get that out there so everybody can, we can all be on the same page. I know we shared last week. We shared a lot of information last week about NADA, and a lot of those coming up this week. I'm scrolling down to it so I can make sure that we get the right information out, because we shared a lot of information for this week. We do want to say, I know Sheriff Ellis retired, officially retired from Hale County, and tomorrow they have the swearing-in ceremony for Sheriff Michael Hamilton. It'll be on Monday at January 16th at the Hale County Courthouse at 2 p.m. So if you're there tomorrow, if you want to be there for the swearing in, I know they had a post to say you're invited to the swearing in ceremony for that. So just want to get that information out there. And NADA, this is NACA, N-A-C-A. They got a meeting in Akron. It started on Friday through this Monday from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. And they got the contact information that's shared on the Black Belt Experience page. And then they also had the same thing in Greensboro that's going on. And if you're looking for, it's a 4-day event. If you're looking to buy a home, make sure that you reach out to them, and there's some good information on there. That's a great way that we can start and establish and build generational wealth. They want to also shout out to my classmate, Eugene Tinker. He got basically for the elderly, you can call him and they got a bus that can come pick you up and take you to Stretch a Dollar, his store down in Sawyerville, Alabama. So great things going on with that. Man. And the first thing I do want to talk about, we got some other things, but I want to get into it, man. We had a lot of storms hit and they ravaged the Black Belt. A lot of places seen a lot of, we try to share a lot of pictures, share some information on the Black Belt Experience, but I know Selma was hit hard, Utah, Greensboro, a lot of other places it was hit hard, man. And Larry, I know you've been probably been able to see some of that stuff, but what were some of the reports or some of the things that you saw back there?
Man, it was devastating. Especially with the pictures of Selma. It kind of reminded me of some of the damage that happened during the 2011 Tuscaloosa tornado. Selma got hit real hard. While I was down in the Greensboro area today, I got to ride around a little bit and kind of see a lot of damage as well. But we got some people out there who lost a lot. By the grace of God, a lot of them lives were spared. But I would like to say to the people that out there that didn't lose nothing, you wasn't impacted in no form, shape, or fashion, don't go out and take advantage of the people that are giving away to those that were impacted. Some people see this as a time to get over, but don't do that. Leave those supplies and needs for the people who actually do need it. Stop trying to get over, because God see you. You ain't getting over for real.
Yeah. And that is you know what, Larry, you hit the nail on the head on that one. Sadly, when we have these incidents, or these traumatic events, you always have people that try to get over, and and that's one of the talks that we've been coming up to, where there's been a lot of donations, a lot of people want to donate, but it's kind of hard because it's funny. And I would say this: you don't see people doing anything until these times pop up, but then now everybody want to organize and bring stuff in and accept donations to do something for the people. But it'd be funny if you was already doing something before. It'd be a lot easier for you to donate or be in a position to accept donations, so that you can continue to support what you're doing. So phone dropped. I had to pick it up, but I just say that, man, because this is so frustrating for me, because in a time where we should be pooling and moving forward, this is. And one thing I would say, give a shout out to Selma leadership. They've been coming on live, you leveraging social media, putting out information. They said, hey, I'll put out at 11 o'clock and at 4:30 or something like that. They've been coming up, talking to the people, trying to inform the people. One thing I would say is, in that, this is just me. When you start talking about partnering, and this is what we talk about, Larry, with leadership. Excuse me. We start talking about partnering and leadership. The best thing that could happen is all the key leaders go to one source. Like everybody, if you're trying to do something for the city, go to the mayor, contact the mayor, contact the city leadership, say, hey, look, this is what we can do, or these are the resources that we can do. And then they can be a one, I guess say a hub or a source that people can go to, where if churches want to donate, they can say, hey, look, we here, we can provide this, we can provide that. So now you got a one place where everybody can call into, and if somebody needs something, they can be pointed in the right direction, so people can get the help that's needed. And that's just me on that one.
I agree. One thing that I do notice about a lot of our Black belt communities, we don't prepare for things like this to happen, especially when it happens over, and we're never prepared, not one time.
Yeah.
I would like to see, our mayors, especially in the Black belt, you got not just Black churches, you got a lot of white churches.
Yeah.
There should be some form of or a committee to where the churches can be involved. So where something like this happened, you already got your supply hub to where, everything would be issued out going through one place where the church is working together.
Yeah,
I know one issue might be, especially with us as Black people, where if my church ain't the headquarters, then we ain't getting involved. You got to get that out the way, because it's all about people. But we shouldn't have all of these, natural disasters coming through, and every time we caught off guard and we're not prepared, and we look into Governor Ivey, we got to wait on her to do what she gonna do. But we still ought to be able to pool resources together from churches, all the churches together, to where we can help out the community until the state or the federal government can kick in. And that's something that we just really, that I really don't see, happening. And you ain't got to be a big church to give what you can. If it's towels or underwear, whatever you can give will help out a lot. So it doesn't matter how many members you got. It's just the fact that whether you got a heart to give or not.
Yeah, I agree, man. I think something like a crisis committee.
Yeah.
Where you have a crisis committee that people already, you come together, you get the bylaws, how you're going to do it. People already know if something happened, this is what you do. This is the person to call. This is how we're going to pool in. This is how we're going to organize. This is how we're going to conduct our distribution operations. This is who we're going to leverage. We got a lot of truck drivers that's in the area, that can move stuff, that can then we can call different people in the community. We can call the church or call a organization like Black, the Men of Valor, be like, hey, look, we're going to be delivering some cases of water over to this location. Can you get some people to come over to help us download? See, that's the type of stuff that we're talking about, and that's what you're saying. And it happens all the way in the Black belt. And the reality is a lot of people, and I'm going to segue into what I want to talk about. But a lot of times we're looking for Governor Ivey to declare a state of emergency so we can get access to certain resources. But the reality is, most of the time, that's based off of not so much of how much damage that was done, but how much damage that was done by people that's in a populated area.
Mm-hmm.
And you look at what happened outside of Sawyerville not too long ago. People still recovering over there in the Utah Greene County area, right? But it still wasn't classified as a state of emergency in those areas. Selma was, and rightfully so. And I'm not taking nothing away from it, because they got some extensive damage, but other people did too. But it goes back to what we talked about, Larry. We got to start getting insurance, man. We got to start getting stuff that we are taking care of, that we're not putting ourselves in a position hoping that the state would declare a state of emergency, just so we can get something to rebuild or reestablish.
And I want to say this too, especially about, the church. I know, like for the state and national on the Baptist side, we have like foreign mission where we send money off to, foreign countries to help out. That's fine. But the Bible says charity starts at home. It should be a fund, for home too. We raise the money for foreign mission, but we got missions that are not being needs are not being met right here within our own communities and within our own countries. And I have an issue with that. But I have no issue with giving. But at the same time, when you see a need within your community, but you turn an eye to that, but you thinking that you this or that because you done dug a well in Africa, or you done did this over here, you did that, but yet you got people that hunger right there around the corner from the church. I got an issue with that, or people that got this need. So we got to be mindful of that, because charity starts at home first. And if you ain't taking care of home first, then your whole mission is off track. If you're not taking care of home first.
No, Larry, I mean, man, you hitting it. Like, the other thing is, when I'm thinking about a crisis committee, is we already have a lot of resources within the Black Belt. If you think about it, just the nature of where we stay at, you got a lot of folk with chainsaws, a lot of folk with trucks, a lot of folk with hunting gear, stuff that they can move stuff out the way. A lot of stuff with the tractors, all of that stuff. We have a lot of resources, right? If we just come together and organize, if something happened, we can say, hey, look, we've already said, hey, look, we're going to go with contingency plan 1. All right. We know who to call. We know who's going to have this. We know the city and the Department of Works, the Department of Public Works, they may have, they may be overwhelmed by a lot of things going on. We don't all of a sudden just have to wait on them to clear a road that we know on County Road 2, or County Road 12. The fellas, the people in that community can come together, take their chainsaw out and just move that stuff out the road. As the city, the resource can come. Go ahead.
And I can say that a lot of that did happen. Yeah. Especially out there on County Road 7. Everybody out there working the log, and they got chainsaws, so they trees in the road, they cutting them up, moving them out the way. So a lot of that is going on. Like you say, the city can only do so much, the state can only do so much, but we have enough people with this type of equipment to where they can come in and actually be a help. And I'm just, happy to see, everybody stepping up, during these times. But my thing is, why does it take something catastrophic to happen for us to come together as a community?
Yeah.
After the storm then cleared, and we go right back to our prospective places. That togetherness that was there, you don't see that no more.
Yeah.
And we wonder why these tornadoes keep coming through the same way. Yeah, we'll come together at that moment, then we go right back. We ain't neighborly no more now.
Yeah.
And people don't really see that. We just come together when something catastrophic happens. And then after we done got through with that, and it's another thing now, we go right back to our prospective places. You stay on your side, I stay on my side.
Yep. And then, but also too, Larry, just to segue to another point, there's a lot of money pouring in, especially to help Selma. I know Oprah has pledged $1 million to help the rebuild the Selma. They have the the state of emergency, so they have access to certain funds that they can use and leverage. My hope is that the city leadership have a plan and getting there with those business owners and use this as a plan. Like you remember what happened that powerful tornado that went through Tuscaloosa and tore up 15th Street, man, tore it up. But 15th Street don't look like 15th Street before that tornado happened.
Mm-mm.
They leveraged that and used that to be able to build and grow to the point where, man, you go over there now, it's just like, man, like everything brand new. They got a lot of stuff over there, able to draw a lot more revenue into the city. So Selma is a lot of things that happen, but I pray that they use that and leverage that and use this as an opportunity to go out and get people to entice people to invest into the community.
A young lady put on Facebook just yesterday, don't sell your property, help is coming. Because a lot of people in these type of instances, I'll buy your property from you. You're like, don't sell, because what's going to happen, somebody is going to capitalize off the rebuilding of Selma. Yeah. So keep your property and just wait on, the resources to come in, but don't sell out for a little bit of nothing, because they're going to build it up. They are going to build it up, because you got to think about it. In March, they have the Bloody Sunday reenactment, the bridge crossing. Thousands and thousands of people come to Selma every year during that time. Selma can't even hold everybody.
Nope.
But in the years to come, when people come back, I think Selma will be, the infrastructure be better, better buildings, better hotels. I think, the city will be just exactly what it needs for tourism and for the citizens to have a better community as well. But the same day of the tornado, they had I think 2 shootings. One at the truck stop. The same day.
Same day.
The same day. People still, traumatized by the tornado, and people still shooting and trying to kill each other when the Lord inspired you in the midst of a tornado. I just don't understand us.
Yeah, and then when you sit down and think about it and you peel the onion back, it's probably over nothing. Up there under nothing. Nothing. And and we can quick to try to point the blame at other people, but that right there, we got to sit down and look at, just like what you said, life been spared. In it, I've seen a testimony of a young lady that was in the building where the tornado was just, she said it sounded like a train was outside, debris being thrown around. You can just hear the cracking of the building and stuff coming apart. And she was just grateful for just God sparing her life. You had somebody else right down the road shoot somebody right after that.
It's crazy.
Miss Beleda said, and some of our black people are waiting for you to call them so that they can charge you. Yeah. And most of the time the whites just show up and start working. That is a
Now you got some of us like that. We're trying to make $1 out of 15 cents, but a lot of our folks, I saw them on the news and I saw them on County Road 7. We got some good folk that'll get out there, but we got some that take advantage of a situation like this. Well, I got a backhoe, I'll charge a such and such. We got some that's gonna get over, and they're just up.
But we had a lot of folks, to your point, we had a lot of people out there moving trees, helping people recover items. And that's what we typically do. Our point is we should have something to be more organized to where we can set up a infrastructure to where we can go and call different people, different communities to come help out if needed. Because we all live in the same area. Everybody know each other. It ain't like people know each other in the Black Belt. So that right there is what we talk about. Ms. Delamena said it's like we're trying to help, to help each other when trouble comes. When trouble's over, with these same folks be out front helping the community. We need to be more proactive rather than reactive like we usually are. And that's all we're saying. And being like, we already have the resources. And that's one thing when you're thinking about planning, right? Do I have the resources? What resources do I have? And then we can have meetings, and I would just say have meetings in the area. Hey, look, who has such and such type of equipment? Hey, we just know, hey, we ain't gonna do anything until it's there. If we know there's an emergency, we'll do a mass call or a mass call out to everybody. Hey, making sure every first order of business is, first priority is making sure everybody's safe. Second priority, you know what I'm saying? Let's start to get the reports in and see where we need to allocate resources so that they can go in and do the work. And they're just sitting down and having those meetings. So if something do happen, Larry, they know everybody know who to call if you want to make donations, where the hub at, how things gonna be distributed out, and then have a criteria for you have to meet a certain criteria for you can just come and get something. Because Larry, you know, just like I know, these folks ain't nothing happened to them. They'll be right there trying to get everything they can get.
I know the last tornado that hit, we had donated some water. There's a whole bunch of supplies. I took my whole truck bed was full of supplies, and we took them to the fire station in Sawyerville. And a young lady and a man came, and I was still to unload my truck. And it was Sam Roy. He asked the girl, who you here to pick up for? I'm here to pick up for such and such and such. Oh, she already been here. and she was trying to scam. You might ever Sam. Oh, she already been here.
Yeah. So
it's good to know your people in your community. So when somebody comes say, I'm picking up for such and such and such and such and such has already been there, you can't get over today, sweetheart. And then look on her face like, oh, I thought I was finna get me some extra today. But it's just a shame we trying to scam and get over in times like these. But he was like, no, sweetheart, she already been up here.
And listen, I'm telling you, in those times, we need folks that gonna hold people accountable and call people out like that. because I can remember they had a hurricane a few years back that hit in Savannah and in Richmond County in Augusta. Richmond County has a partnership with Chatham County, which is Savannah, that they will evac people up to Richmond County, that get them off the road and evac people up. Well, the schools, they had them people living in sleeping in the gyms and stuff like that at the schools. And man, I will tell you, these people up here basically refugees, and they got evacuated, and they want to be picky on what type of supplies they get. Oh, I don't want this kind, I want that kind.
I don't use this kind of deodorant, I use Right Guard. I do.
But yeah, hey, to your point though, Beleda said my daughter couldn't get home because trees were down on 14. She went on County Road 7, trees were down. They said, give us a few minutes, we got this, and they cleared the road. That's what we talking about. That typically happens. That right there typically happens. Our point is just getting organized so we have a plan already in place that everybody can go off of. And we call it a contingency plan, a contingency plan, that everybody already know what you need to do just in case something go up. So we just, with that, man, I'm just curious, like what you said, let's rally behind it, use this as an opportunity to not only restore but revive the Black Belt area, and then start coming up with long-term plans on how we can leverage. Because Larry, think about what we have in the Black Belt. The Black Belt, we're sitting right there in the heartbeat of the civil rights movement that people from all over the world hear about. People in different countries would travel here to just go and see some of the stuff that we see every day. And it's kind of like, the Edwards Pettus Bridge, man. It's kind of like, man, I've been over that thing hundreds of times. That's history to a lot of people. So what do we have? What infrastructure do we have to take advantage of that and create revenue to come in?
Nothing. Yeah.
And then we get upset, but I digress. I'm gonna move on, man, to good old hot topic. And one of the hot topics that we got is they had the chairman of the Perry County Commission got indicted, and I'm gonna pull it up. It was reported in the Alabama.com that she said she didn't. Miss Dayla Manning said, and we didn't have Facebook, and we were organized. Yeah, we just had to get there and get organized. But Alabama.com said Perry County Commissioner chairman charged with voting multiple times stuffing ballot boxes. And it said Perry County Commission Chairman Albert Turner Jr. has been indicted on voter fraud charges. 4th Judicial Circuit District Attorney Michael Jackson, along with Secretary of State John Merrill, announced the two-count indictment Wednesday. They said Turner, the son of civil rights activist Albert Turner Sr., is charged with voting more than once, which is a misdemeanor, and harvesting ballots a felony. They said the allegations stem from 2 different elections in Perry County, one in May and one in November, both in 2022. So I guess that was the primary and the regular election. Jackson said Turner is accused of stuffing ballots into a voting machine in May Democratic primary election. The quote said he was there most of the day stuffing filled out ballots in favor of the candidates he was supporting, Jackson said. Witnesses came forward, and we felt we had enough to present a Perry County grand jury. Now, according to Albert Turner page, his county page, he said that he counted and said, this was baseless. Basically, say he's not going to entertain it. He said Little Mike. He called him Little Mike. District attorney called him Little Mike. And he said that, this is political theater. And he waited till he was going out of office to do this. And I got my opinion, but I just want to know what you got to say about that, Larry.
That's why Al my friend. I like Al, but he my friend.
Yeah.
Why now? If it happened in May and November, I read a write-up that put a friend of mine in the mix. He's the cousin of Robert Turner Jr., who beat out Michael, whatever his name. I can't think of the name right now, but throwing him in the mix was kind of what threw me off. If the commissioner did get jammed up, whether he related somebody or not, that should not have been put in there. But to me, to wait till now to try to bring some up, I smell a rat. I just smell a rat. And it stunk even more when they tried to throw Robert Turner's name in the mix.
Well, I think the only thing that I saw about, right now sworn in the district attorney, Robert Turner, was that they said that, they basically, the Secretary of State is the one that has it now due to a conflict of interest with Robert Turner being his cousin.
There was another write-up that said he was the cousin of Albert Turner. That should have been left out. But anyway, but yeah, he won't get it because of conflict of interest. But I just think it's something to derail what took place, because if it happened in May, why you allowed to get to November? Then here it is in January, and now you want to do an indictment. If the witnesses were there in May, you have enough evidence in May.
Well, you know what, too, Larry, I agree with you as far as with the timing of it, but let's not act like this is the first time people have suspected foul play with voting going on in Perry County.
It's not. It's not.
Yeah. So, and that's why I said with this one, the timing of it. Yeah, you can look at the timing. The timing of it, you definitely can look at that. And you can look at it to the sense of, well, if you've been the district attorney since 2004. Why hadn't anything else come up before then? But if I'm not mistaken, John Mayer, the Secretary of State, they attempted to do this before to file some voting. It was some voting irregularities that was going on, suspected voting irregularities going on in Perry County before. And I would just tell you, this is not my first time hearing about it. I just don't know, for this one, I mean, I don't know. But I will say this. The Secretary of State, John Mayer, his office, they have been going after voter fraud in Alabama heavily, and they should. And they few of them had to be few elections even was overturned based off of what was going on. But I do agree with you.
And another thing, for the candidates he favor, it's just those catchy phrases with what they're saying. Who are the candidates that he favor?
Yeah.
How do we know he favor? Whatever candidate.
But he endorsed certain people, though. He did endorse certain people.
He did, but it don't mean that, okay, if you endorse me, Robert, but I don't really want to be associated with you for real, but you endorsing me anyway.
Yeah.
So do that mean that I'm really your favorite, or you rather see me win than the next person?
Yeah, I mean, but also too, it was a lot of people telling folks don't vote for Portia.
Exactly.
It was some people in Perry County telling people, oh, if you vote straight Democrat, you still vote for Portia. It's some people that was literally doing that at the election.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. So, like, when we start talking about this, I agree. I'm not disagreeing with you. I think the timing one, I think, you can question the timing, but I think that it was more so like, hey, look, if I'm going out anyway,
going out swinging.
I'm going out swinging.
I'm finna flip the whole chessboard over. We're gonna have to start over again some kind of way. I'm just gonna mess the game up. And that was like he trying to mess the game up.
Yep. So, but yeah, but hold on. I would say this though. Miss Delamena said it's been alleged since the 60s. And if you think voter irregularities are not common throughout, your head is in the sand. That is true. But Ms. Valeda said Albert isn't that dumb. And he didn't need to do anything for Robert to beat Michael. He beat him in everywhere but Dallas. Oh, listen. The district attorney election, it ain't even in question that was.
Perry County did not give him. He whooped Lil Mike, as Jelly would say. He whooped Lil Mike.
he whooped him.
Whooped him like he stole something.
Yeah, he whooped him. He did. Definitely did. But I would just say from this, right? From all of this, right? Me personally, politics is politics. But what really pisses me off in the black belt is they still do all of the political theater stuff, but we don't see no tangible results. We don't see no tangible changes. We don't see no industries or no jobs coming in. We see people still leaving all of the time. And that's the stuff for me. That is what is frustrating for me. Because guess what, Larry? Year after year after year, we point fingers at everybody. Everybody want to take credit for everything, but we don't see nothing happen. We don't see nothing happening. So that's just my problem. And I agree with you. Duck said Albert Turner is innocent. He's innocent until proven guilty. Let it play out in court. And he said, like Larry said, that's a rat somewhere. Yeah, that's a rat. And Miss Maynard said, then Mr. Jackson just a petty politician. And it's confirmation for me that he should have been voted out. But I will say this. I will go ahead on and say this. He's been elected. He was originally elected in 2004. My dad worked under his office, the district attorney's office, and my dad been dead this year, be 10 years. That means that the people in Perry County continue to vote him in office. They supported it. Because when the last time the Perry County, because you go back and check the record, I know right now Dallas County supported, but you know the same thing we say right now. District Attorney Robert Turner, he came on the show. Same thing we said with him. We support him, but if he ain't saying no change and we don't see nothing moving things forward in the right direction, he shouldn't still be in office. But if he's doing what he had to do, and you can see the things trending upward, and you see progression, we should continue to support him. But we got entirely too many politicians in the black belt that have been in the office almost 20 years, and we ain't seeing no results.
I think with Bro Turner, Bro Robert, he's very innovative. You know, yeah. He's smart. I think he really have a love for the community. And when he say he tired of, you know, seeing the dockets backed up, you know, people not going to court, you know, just staying in jail for all this time without even going to court. I mean, I can understand from an attorney perspective, you know, he can see it from a perspective we can't see it. But yeah. You know, but you, if you're a family member of somebody that's been shot or killed, and this joker just in the jail, ain't been in trial yet, and you wondering when you gonna get your justice, when the DA and then assistant DAs ain't doing their job. I think that he was sincere about that he's gonna, you know, change that process and make a difference in it. I believe he's gonna be a man of his word and do, unless somebody try to throw a roadblock and keep him from doing it, I think he's gonna do just what he said he's gonna do.
Yeah, I mean, and I like we said before, man, everybody, we talk about a lot of different things, a lot of different positions, a lot of stuff here on the Black Belt Experience. And some people may take that as it's personal. It's never personal. Never personal. What we want is, at the end of the day, if you're doing the right thing and you about progression, hey, look, we support you. Everybody ain't going to agree with every decision that's being made, but that don't mean because I disagree with you on this that I don't support you. And I want people to really, really understand that. And just like what you said, Miss Hardy said, in office way too long, all elected positions should have time limits. I guess he said not just the president. I agree, man. Like, I'm being honest, man. I'm telling you, it hurt my heart to come back home, man. To see like the same people in office and we're not progressing. Like, I'm dead serious, man. And I drive other places and I see like, dang, like, man, these folks got an industrial park. Like, I'm sitting, think about this, Larry. We got Highway 14 right there in the Black Belt that connected to a lot of different things. We got a lot of land right down there back home. Why we don't have industrial parks where people can come in and we got enduring jobs, good paying jobs that we can leverage and we can draw revenue to come in there?
I wonder the same thing.
People don't understand this. And I go back to this, man. I remember being a little kid going to Selma when that Air Force Base was open over there in Selma.
Correct.
When that Air Force Base closed, Selma took a big economic hit.
Major. Why you think Montgomery? You know, Maxwell's gonna leave Montgomery, but Montgomery said, nope. We finna do what we need to do to keep y'all here.
Larry, I'm gonna put this in perspective. They were going to close Baumholder in Germany. It was on the docket to shut down Baumholder. Do you know the mayor of a city in Germany flew to DC and advocated for them to not close it down.
Because he knew the resources that they was getting through that base.
And guess what they did? They didn't shut down Baumholder. They moved the brigade from Bamberg, my brigade that I was there, moved the headquarters there to justify keeping Baumholder open. So when you think about that, if a German mayor knew that it was important enough to advocate for his city and his region, to fly back to the States to advocate, to lobby for them to do it, why we don't have that's going on in the Black Belt?
Montgomery Mayor did. I know he did. He fought hard and he won. I mean, he said whatever you got to do.
Why do you think Huntsville is the number one, the largest city in the state of Alabama right now? You got Redstone Arsenal there,
the Rocket Center and everything else.
But what people don't realize is at Redstone Arsenal is the Army Material Command. The Army Material Command is the logistics, four-star logistics organization that is responsible for supplying all branches of service. So that's why you have all of those companies that's there that set up headquarters in Huntsville to lobby to get those government contracts from the government. So now you have high-paying jobs. You got Boeing up there. You got the Space and Rocket Center. You got a lot of the different things, a lot of different headquarters up there where people have jobs. Then you got engineering jobs. Guess what you also have? You have Alabama A&M, which have a great engineering program that feed the beast in there. This is the type of stuff that we're talking about to where you can grow your city. And as the people grow, as the city limit expands, that the more revenue comes. And what really is frustrating for the Black Belt that I've seen is all of our revenue, all of the money from Greensboro, from Uniontown, from Utah, all of that, it goes up to Tuscaloosa County.
Or Montgomery, depends on where you get.
Or Birmingham, because watch this. It's about the same distance drive from Tuscaloosa to Vance than it is driving from what you call it over there, Bessemer, over there in McCalla. So McCalla has grown because of the Mercedes-Benz plant. A lot of people leave from where we and move up there because guess what? They got a lot more amenities. So now their revenue, their tax revenue grow in the city and in the county. So they're able to invest in and bring more things and expand more. When we talk about that in the Black Belt, people get in their feelings. But when you see the same stuff look the same. When you drive down these county roads, bro, and it look like, I mean, it is you can't do the speed limit.
Mm-hmm.
You got potholes, you got a lot of stuff. We have to start looking at how can we make sure our money come back. How can we go ahead?
And I think that's another thing, which like Ralph Howe, we talking about the gas tax and all that type of stuff. That only goes so far when the majority of your revenue is going into a whole nother, city, and I'm not trying to talk, make excuses for the local governments, but a lot of them don't have a whole lot to work with.
Yeah.
A lot of the grants they can't get because a lot of them you got to match, you got to match. And a lot of these little Black Belt towns can't match.
But you know what though, Larry? A lot of these Black Belt towns and these leaderships, right? It's a lot of grant money coming in the Black Belt. But it ain't going to do the things that the grant money was released to do.
I agree.
Because a lot of these people are basically using nonprofit organizations to get access to money.
Put in their pocket.
And it's going in their pocket. Listen, I'm telling you, we say that all the time. It's grants that people that's actually doing the work in the Black Belt cannot get because other people are using the Black Belt as a means of saying what services they're going to provide and not provide that service at all. So when they go and try to get the money, and I'm speaking the truth. I'm speaking
already gone.
It's gone, or they say, hey, this already been allocated. You got people not even headquarters in the Black Belt saying they represent the Black Belt. But then also too, Larry, when we start talking about doing the census, people don't do the census. People don't understand now. We going out 10 years. We talked about it in 2020. We talked about it on the show.
Mm-hmm.
Now you got to wait to 2030.
And that's our fault. I'm talking about the Black folks because we're not counted for like we should because just something simple as doing the census. It's not a big deal, but it is a big deal because we missing out on money that could come to our area if we count it properly. But because we ain't, filling out the paperwork to be counted, our area miss out on resources. But I bet you Helena and what's the other place over there in Walker County? What those areas? Oh, they counted for. They getting all the money they can get.
Oh, they counted for.
Montevallo, all down back up through there. Hoover. You better be glad they count babies that ain't born yet. The baby ain't came out yet. Let's go and count Junior. They trying to get all they can get. But we missing out on resources because we won't even do something as simple as fill out the census.
Oh, we ain't got time to do it. You can do it online. I did it online, Larry, and it took not even 10 minutes. I did it on my phone. Ms. Georgia Askew said, you're right. When people are elected, they need to do their jobs. Whatever you promise the people, the reason they voted for you, don't let us down. The problem I'll say with that, ma'am, is a lot of people that get elected need to be educated. Because most of the people we elected in the Black Belt have no clue about government, no clue about organizational leadership, no clue about planning, no clue about networking. They have no clue. They got great intentions, but they don't have the skill set. And then what happens is they're not dedicating themselves to go and get trained up, to get certified. Shout out to Mayor Rosell. Him and one of his council members are only two elected officials in the Black Belt that's been certified at the state level. That's something that they saw after they got in office. You see what I'm saying? They ain't just sit around and we talk about it and this is, we just want better. That's all we're talking about. We just want better. That's all. Ms. Janice Harder said the state and federal representatives for the Black Belt counties have to do their jobs and be held accountable. I will say this. I agree with you. But also the citizens got to stop voting these folks in office. They ain't seeing that. A lot of these folks been in office, man, 20 years and we keep voting back in office. And Lam, this is the thing. When you start looking at donations, man, some of these folks that got over 20 years and then raised almost $2 million, bro. Millions of dollars in campaign donations. And they're winning by like 90%, 85, 90%. That means that they don't even have to spend no money to campaign. And what that does is they created a sense of apathy that they know these folks just going to vote for them. But they getting all this campaign money. But then when they get in office, what are the growth we see? That's all. From that perspective, that's what we're talking about in that aspect. But the reality is, Larry, we just get emotional. We ain't going to do nothing. We're going to go back and vote the same thing that we voted before. Just being honest with you.
I hold the citizens accountable as well because a lot of times some folks just don't care. Some of them, they care, but they too scared to say something. Then you got some of them that, they'll talk behind the scene. But if you're not holding a person accountable to make them do their job, then I wouldn't do my job either. I'm just saying if I was them. I'm not that type of individual. But if you're not holding me accountable, just let me get away with not doing my job, I'll do it too.
The only thing I do show up around election time.
That's it. Show up at your church and, just speak, you know what I'm saying? And you don't see me no more. You keep letting me do the same thing over again without any type of accountability factor.
But it's funny, Larry, I seen a video. It was on TikTok. And this one man was he was in Jackson, Mississippi. And it was a church that was right there. And he was talking about, the Black Christian church has been fooling you guys, this, that, and the third, and then they pan right over to an old house right by the church. You look at this church and look at that house. That house, they can't even build up their community, this, that, and the third. And it's funny, it was a black man that did that, talking about the black church. And the reason why I bring that up is because we're quick to condemn what somebody else ain't doing. But in them comments, people are like, hey, okay, bro, what you doing? What have you done? You talking about what they should do, but at the end of the day, is the church responsible for fixing up people's houses? Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying? Where's the personal accountability on it? Like, there's some legal things that you can't do. If somebody, and this is what typically what happens is this: people pass away and they leave the house to certain people, right? and you leave it to an estate, and then you have a battle with the estate to where it sits there for years because people can't agree on anything.
Ain't nobody paying no taxes.
Nobody paying no taxes. Nobody doing any upkeep to it, and it go down. And you may want to come in and do anything, but you're not legally allowed to do it. But the reason why I brought up that first point is we are quick to condemn the church about what they're not doing, but we elect people to do a job and don't hold them accountable because maybe they be our cousins, maybe because they always been there, maybe they represent a political party that we're aligned to, and we don't want to hold those people accountable at all. At all. And that's just on, and what they say, and that's on Mary Had a Little Lamb. That's on Mary Had a Little Lamb. But on to some other things, man. It's kind of going into kind of what we did within the black belt, but Hall of Fame safety from the Baltimore Ravens, Ed Reed, recently they announced in December that that he was hired on as the head football coach at Bethune-Cookman. Bethune-Cookman is a private HBCU in Daytona Beach, Florida, and he said, and I'm gonna read what he said. He said HBCUs suffer from broken mentalities. And boy, I would tell you, it's folks in HBCUs, they've been coming at him because, you know, first of all, here we go, people talking about, oh, you shouldn't talk about your future employee like that. You ain't even been on the job. Who taught you what you've been working for? Basically, been working for 2 weeks now. Haven't had a contract yet, and it's HBCU alleged HBCU graduates that are coming at him for him calling out the truth.
He said Prime was right. Coach Prime was right.
Yeah. And he talked, but this is the thing though. People that attended, this is not all HBCUs, but a lot of the issues we have with HBCUs align with a lot of the issues we have in minority ran organizations is you don't have good leadership. You have mismanagement at the leadership level. And the thing is, Ed Reed is already taken care of. Ed Reed don't need, like a lot of these coaches, and I'm saying shout out to Coach Prime, man, for hiring Mississippi Valley State coach on his staff at Colorado. And people were like, why would he leave Mississippi Valley to go coach at Colorado? You know how much money this man about to make compared to what he was making at Mississippi Valley?
He gonna be cold though.
He gonna be cold. But I'm just saying, he was a head football coach at Mississippi Valley State, HBCU, and they was paying this man less than $100,000 a year. Yeah. He
been to make some money.
He about to make some money. That's life changing for him and his family.
And his family.
Was a head football coach. You see what I'm saying? So when you start thinking about this, I'm glad he's speaking out. The reason why he's speaking out is people don't know. Say a hit dog will holler, right? Folks getting their feelings about a lot of stuff. And a lot of people will say Larry, I know folks, some folks say stuff about us on here about, you know what I'm saying? We always saying this, that, and the third, or we don't get that. And we don't advertise stuff. But at the end of the day, can't nobody say we ain't doing stuff. They can't say that we ain't putting resources to the things that we're talking about. They can't say that we aren't trying to provide solutions. We're not just talking about problems. We're trying to provide solutions to help better where we at.
I agree.
And people gonna talk anyway. But I would say what I do like about it is Ed Reed, he telling the truth.
He said he been there 2 weeks and did more for the school than folk been there umpteen years.
Yeah.
In 2 weeks, he done did more.
And the broken.
He said, and I'm not even officially the coach yet. They ain't even hired yet.
and the broken mentality is that woe is me mindset, or people want to keep it how it is so they can continue to benefit from it and not benefit for what it needs to be.
This how we always done it mentality, broken. Yeah.
Man, you just said something on that one. How we always done it. Even the mob, man. Even the mob. And this is why I tell people, if you go back and look at it, it's the reason why a lot of these quote-unquote mobsters were able to transition into official businesses. Because what they did was they sent their kids off to school to become lawyers, to be trained, to get educated, to come back and then leverage that and move forward to something that will keep them out of the limelight. or keep them out of what was done, because guess what? They had the foresight to prepare their kids and prepare the next generation for elevation. We get in, that's how we always done it. Somebody go out, get the knowledge on how to make it more efficient or better ways to doing it, and we attack them because y'all think y'all know everything. You think
you better than everybody else.
We went to the same schools, man. We come from the same, we played on the same dirt road, rode the same alleys, you know what I'm saying, cut through the same woods, played in the same pastures, rode bikes together, did all that stuff together. But
it's sad, and it really, the sad part about it is for a lot of HBCU grads that, you know, try to act like the issue is not there, they're part of the problem. You know, well, you didn't graduate from HBCU, you graduated from a PWI. You may take class online, but you never had the yard experience and stuff like that. Is that what it's all about? The yard experience? Campus life? You know, what goes beyond that? A lot of them, you know, are on warning or, you know, on probation because someone done right. You know what I'm saying? It's a repeated cycle in a lot of, and because of mismanagement. And a lot of the time, they're not on probation just for grades. It's not returning reports in, you know, on time, and not having proper audits and things. All that factors in to schools being on probation.
But and the other thing too is when he said HBCUs, people all like, you know, like I said, a hit dog with holler. He's not saying all HBCUs,
but it's a majority.
I mean, let's just not act like that ain't a reality. Like, let's be honest with you. So this weekend, man, Friday, I got a chance to surprise my son at South Carolina State over in Orangeburg. So it's a HBCU, South Carolina State University. And I was able to surprise Robert and, you know, just going there and went in the bookstore and it was some students sitting out front. And one thing I just shared with them, like I shared with a lot of them, is, you know, I said, enjoy the experience of an HBCU. I mean, it's a very unique experience. But my advice always to them is, you know, I don't want them to fall into the trap to thinking that, you know, understand that the world is like a HBCU, and it's not. And, you know, I say enjoy this experience, but don't go around and be naive to the point of thinking that, and then going around with the mindset of everybody else is the boogeyman. Like, no, like, you got to get out there and get it. Like, you got to get out and have the mindset that you was prepared to go out there and compete. And yes, everything may not be equal. I got that, but that don't mean that you can't carve your own way out and make it better for you and yours. So that's the message that I would say. But he's telling the truth about a lot of HBCUs, man. The same thing that I say, like, even in the black belt ran. Let's look at Utah, for instance. Mayor Johnson is doing a phenomenal job in Utah. When she took over, it wasn't ran well. That's all I'll put it like that. It was not ran well at all. And for her and the administration now, they're doing a phenomenal job of being transparent. I ain't saying everything perfect. I mean, but I'm talking about they're doing a phenomenal job of being transparent, especially with the finances, talking about, you know, they published their budget out for the year up front, so people knew what was going on. They got a lot of things, great things going on. Shout out to Chief Johnson for doing a phenomenal job with the police department, engaging with the community, building trust with the community. You're seeing a lot of different things going on. And to me, Utah is a very proud example. Also, look what Mayor Roselle doing in Akron. You know what I'm saying? I mean, like, just be honest. Like, look at what he's done, been able to accomplish in the city of Akron. Like, the city, they own the deeds to the old Akron Elementary School. They was able to get a grant for $5 million because guess what? He wasn't afraid to go say, hey, I need some help. He didn't care what party you went. You could have been in the Martian party. If you got resources, he was like, look, I need it.
I need some help.
I need some help. And that is the point. That right there is what we're speaking on in the aspect of, you know, getting out there and get it. Richard Bendison said a lot of HBCUs are getting their stuff together since they are hiring more competent staff. Since you've been to South Carolina, look at what Clapton has done in a short period of time with probably, yes, Yes, Clapton is like literally, Laramie. I'm not. This is no lie. You have South Carolina State right here, like how me and you looking on the screen right now. Next door, like right next door, like their campuses are connected.
Wow.
Connected. And if you want to know the history about Clapton and South Carolina State, go Google the Orangeburg massacre that happened, where some HBCU students were killed in South Carolina. They got a memorial on campus, but at Clapton and South Carolina State. But yes, it is about proper leadership, and the same thing we're talking about in the Black Belt: proper leadership, not just people we know a ship or people we like a ship, but proper leadership. And the reason the Black Belt is hurting for incompetent leaders who are holding on because being in those political positions have become a source of their livelihood. And they are fighting tooth and nails to keep it the same at the expense of the people. At the expense of the people. And you can agree with it or not. I mean, you can go ahead and go talk to Jesus on that one, because that's a fact. No, I'm dead serious. That's a fact, man. Like when we start looking at stuff, like seriously look at stuff. I was looking at I watched a movie today with Jamie Foxx and Michael B. Jordan called Mercy, right? The real good. I'll tell you, people go check that out. It's about something happened down in Baldwin County in Monroeville, where a guy was convicted of murdering a 18-year-old lady solely off of a lie, off of testimony that a convicted felon was basically forced to make strong arm into making that convicted an innocent man. And it ended up getting overturned by what's his name? The character, the guy, he's a advocate right now. He's a lawyer that go and get a lot of people off. I can't remember. It's Brian Stevenson. Brian Stevenson, that's his name. He was played by Michael B. Jordan. That's a very good movie. I'm telling you, go check it out. Mercy, with Jamie Foxx and Michael B. Jordan. But what I liked in it showed that how the powers that be at the time, how they worked towards, keeping certain things that, like it was. And it was hard. It's going to be hard to overcome that. The same thing happened when we've elected. The first hurdle was getting black people elected. Now we got a lot of black people elected in the Black Belt, and we ain't seeing no improvements, bro. I'm sorry. And we can talk all we want to about, we don't have a major highway going through the Black Belt, a lot of different areas, but we got a lot. And a lot of jobs left since we graduated high school, Larry, that was here.
Let me ask this question in. This for you and the listeners. Do you think one of the problems is in the Black Belt? Because I faced this at a church I pastored. It was like people had got the mentality that we don't supposed to do better. And then when they start seeing themselves going beyond for what they think they're supposed to be, they get scared and they fight against that change. Because when you've been in a situation for so long, you think this is where I'm supposed to be.
Well, you know what? Yeah, Larry, I agree with you. You know what? I call it self-sabotage, right? Think about this. I'm going to use this as a woman, right? You got a woman that, and it may stir some people up, but oh well. But you have a woman that always been picking bad dudes. And I heard that, I said they are selecting because they're choosing to connect themselves with no good jokers. Then you get a good joker come on. I'm talking about joker solid, straight up and down solid. I ain't saying perfect, but I'm talking about consistent, solid, considerate. If you have a checklist, it's going all the way down the checklist. Now you feel like he too nice. It's too good to be true. So I can't just accept it. I got to do something to sabotage. So in my mind, I'm so afraid that it's going to work that I'm going to do something to mess it up just so I can convince myself to stay where I'm at, because I don't feel like I deserve better, because I've been conditioned to operate in dysfunction or have lack. That when you're presented with the abundance, to walk in abundance, then it scares me to the point to where I want to stay where I'm at because my dysfunction has become my comfort zone. Now, if you try to come in and you giving me ways, and I can see what you're talking about, but I'm gonna fight you tooth and nail because now you disrupting my comfort zone. I'm comfortable here. So why are you trying to take us to a new level as a pastor, bro? No, I'm good just coming on Sunday morning, you know what I'm saying? And I'm good. I'm not talking about all that other stuff. Hey, bro, what you mean about talking about a relationship with God and doing all these other things with me? No, I'm just good. I want to sing in the choir, right? I just want to sing in the choir. That's it. I don't want to do nothing else. When you start talking about government, and the only thing it is, like I said, a young girl that went to high school with my son Robert, she got a track scholarship to UConn. So I'm on TikTok. She on TikTok all the time. And one thing she said, she did a video the other day. She made a video, and then the caption was like, you know, to all my people back in Augusta, the world is so much bigger. That's what she said. And my thing is, like we always said, I said exposure leads to expansion. And a lot of times in the black belt, we don't want to expand. Look, when somebody come back, you have people that would attack people that have the intentions of elevating them, all because they're scared. All because they're scared. So you're right, man. Man, you hit the head, the nail on the head. And Miss Agnew said, Mrs. Shepherd, have you ever thought about running for office? To be honest with you, ma'am, no, I haven't. No, I haven't. I haven't thought about running for office. What I would say is this: there's a lot of information for a lot of people that from back home that have information to elevate us. It just haven't been well received when they try to offer it back. Because a lot of people back there, they start to, you know, oh, what you trying to look, man. I don't have that mindset. Larry, if I see you doing something, bro, I'm like, hey, man, hey, hey, can you? No, I don't have that. I don't have that ego. I don't have that right there. You know, hey, if I see you doing something that can help me, hey, man, let me know. You know, what can I do? You know, what, hey, can you let me know that? You know, man, look, I'm telling you, shout out to my classmate, Frederick Ward. I follow him all the time, man. He's doing great things, real estate. Be watching. Hey, boom. I always tell him, I send him random notes. Hey, man, I'm very proud of you. I see what you're doing. Keep doing what you're doing, man. Why? Because I want to support him and speak life into him because I see what he's doing. And not only I see what he's doing, I'm watching and I'm learning. I mean, that's just that, man. But I want to go to another topic before we get off tonight, Larry. I want to go to another topic. And it's one that we talk about a lot, but I think we need to continue this conversation.
I think I know where you finna go.
Yeah, buddy. So there was a post that I seen a post that a guy made, and he was just going off some statistics, right? And some of the statistics he was talking, it was in a debate forum, and one of the things he was saying about single parent homes. And he said that he was going off stats about, you know, like the number of single parent people that kids that come from single parent homes have a higher rate of going to prison, higher rate for suicide, higher rate to commit crimes, higher rate for all of these things. And the first thing that popped off, the women automatically assumed that he was trying to blame it on the women.
That ain't the mama fault.
It ain't the mama fault. Like, no, he was saying single parent homes, the dynamic of single parent homes. And when we start looking at that, we have a lot of discussion behind the scenes when it comes to child support and the child support laws, especially in Alabama. You know, and how the child support industry is a multi-billion-dollar industry. And I seen this one video of this guy who literally, when you get penalized for basically say you miss some child support, sometimes you don't be missing it. Some people, and it's funny because how you know it's set up the wrong way. And I know I'm gonna let you just say a little bit about it, but Larry, I can be giving money to the mother of my child, right? We say we're not together. I can be giving her money for years. I can give her money for 5 years and be consistently giving her the same amount for 5 years. She can go back and file child support, and they will start me back from day one.
Mm-hmm.
And charge me interest on what I supposed to pay back from day one, and all the money, even though I have the proof to say I've been giving her this money, they'll just say it was a gift.
It's facts.
And then the interest that I pay back don't go to the child.
The state gets some of that money.
It goes to the state. And I know a lot of times when we dealing with child support, when we dealing with these things, a lot of times, and I'm finna say this, a lot of people, majority of the time is the women that do it. They leverage the child support system to get back at the father or have a sense of control over the father. And the best way of doing it is really coming to an agreement that two adults can do what they got to do to take care of the child, what's in the best interest of the child. But you dealt with this, man. How unfair are the laws, the child support laws in the state of Alabama, man?
But Alabama really has, fathers have no rights in Alabama legally, legal rights. We can get, the judge can give you, legal joint custody, whatever, but there are no laws that favor fathers in Alabama. There was a bill that tried to pass, I think, back in before the pandemic hit, but it didn't get enough votes, so it just died, or whatever. But Alabama law, so where when it comes to a father, he has to be put in a position to where, just say if you got more than one child, if you're not paying child support for the other children, but you are providing for them, the court don't consider your other children. No, they're not even a factor because it's not court-ordered child support. For me, child support should be only ordered for somebody that won't do what they know they're supposed to do as a father. Not for somebody who's willing to do, but for those that have to be made to take care of their child. The system is designed because, you got a lot of fathers out there who, are men that have good jobs, they, good citizens. But once you get in that system, especially on the back pay side, it goes on your credit report. You get that deadbeat dad status. So in company, they feel like, and it's gonna drop your credit score. I know because it happened to me. But the system will use black women to bring down decent black men. So where if they're killing two birds with one stone. The father don't have any legal right to the child other than visitation, where you may see him here and there. And that's really not, a factor because that limited time, you're still absent for real. But the statistics show that children that are deprived of their fathers in their lives, they do have a high rate of committing suicide, dropout, getting in trouble, going to jail, all this different type of stuff. Now, the court system knows the statistics, but yet makes it harder, especially in Alabama, for fathers to be in their child's life. Killing two birds with one stone. We can get the daddy and we get the child in the long run. This child gonna eventually have children of their own or a child of their own. This child is now dysfunctional, got issues because of their childhood because daddy wasn't really there. Now, this child that is now grown that is dysfunctional got to try to raise a child while they dysfunctional themselves. Do you see the cycle?
Yeah.
Now, and I think Arkansas and other states, because I've been studying different laws that are in place for fathers in different states, because I'm actually writing up something to take to Montgomery, because you should have to fight to be in your child life.
Yeah.
Fathers are a necessity. Fathers are important as well. The father and mother have equal time with the child throughout the year. You take care of them when they with you. The father take care of them when they with the father. Which means now, if you can't afford to pay your bills before you get the child or after you get the child, then let them go with the father. Because the father have to be able to provide a home for the child as well. But if you got them paying child support for such, he can't provide a home. He can't keep the lights on because of child support. How's that benefiting the child when the child go stay with the daddy? They don't care nothing about that.
Yeah. So and Jonathan said, then we need to get our state legislators involved to push for a reform to change these laws. And that's what I'm saying. We got people elected in the black belt that's elected to represent us, to take these up, to advocate on our behalf on these things. Because Larry, one thing you said, and I would say, you know, shout out to my son's mother. We've always been able to come to an understanding for what was the best interest for Robert, not from a sense of, you know, and this, I'm just being honest with you. I have no respect for any parent using a child as a source of income. I have no respect for that, because a lot of times, you know, when you get like, well, the only reason why they want to keep the child is to keep the money coming to them. Because see, they set up their quality of life based off the money coming to them, and not based off of them doing what they got to do for their done self. You know, and I don't have no respect for that, because there are a lot of people that use their kids just to get an additional source of income. They have it ain't about the best interest of the kid, because a lot of these folks don't want to be honest with themselves and say, you know what, I'm not the best parent for this child right now.
There was a guy I went to UA with. We actually went to court at the same time. And he graduated. He was an engineer making good money. And he had married this young lady, and he was crying like a baby in the courtroom. I was mad for him. I wanted to go to jail. I wanted to flip over tables for him. But you know, he ended up divorcing the young lady. And every time he would get a raise, she felt like she should get a raise. And he like, Judge, she's not handicapped. She can work. Now, when we was married, I took care of the home. I did, but she messed up. I did my part. I'm giving her money every month for my daughter, but I still got to go out and buy my daughter stuff. The judge said, well, you her daddy, you should buy her stuff. But I'm giving her this much money that her mama's able to provide for her as well, but she's not doing it. The judge wasn't trying to hear nothing that this young man was saying. After he paid child support, he still got to provide because the mama ain't doing right by the money. The judge told him it ain't your business what she do with the money once you give it to her.
And Larry, and I know this one case, and it's this scenario happens a lot. One lady married this guy. Guy married this lady that had kids. The kids' dad wasn't doing anything. The guy adopted it. The kid's dad gave up rights. Guy adopted a kid. He divorced the mama. The mama put him on child support for a kid that he adopted. But she never put the child support on the dad before, but the dad was a deadbeat. But see, you see this guy, the guy got something going on. I'm gonna put him on child support. And I would say this, and I'm gonna get to it. Ms. Rollins said, what I say all the time, be careful who you lay with. And that's why there is supposed to be protection. And some men bring themselves down trying to be smart. Be smart. I have one son, and I take darn good care of myself and mine. Right? And
now, Ms. Rollins, come on now, Ms. Rollins. Now, you a woman, and I'm a man. Now, I tell anybody, and let's just be real. If a woman want a man, she can get him. If a woman really want a man, she get him. Now, we say, you know, there are ways to do things, and then there's protection. But sometimes you fall for a joker. You know what I'm saying? Some jokers will make you fall for them. You think you doing the right thing, and you so in love, and you make a dumb decision based on your emotions. We all have been there. We all have been there, and some of us still paying the cost for it now. So it just ain't all about. Now, you got some jokers out there just being reckless. But in a lot of situations, it wasn't just a reckless move. It was people actually thinking, you know, you love me and I love you type of situation. But really, it turned out you thought you knew somebody that you really didn't know in the end. And that go both ways. From a woman dealing with a man, you thought you knew this joker. He was somebody else. In the same way with a man and a woman. You wasn't who I thought you were.
Yeah, I mean, and she said that Charlene Fisk said, stop saying making better choices because people change all the time.
Every day.
That's the truth. That right there is the truth. And I just want to say this. I just really want to say this. This ain't a us versus them. This is the dynamic that impacts a lot of people, right? And then when they get, this is the problem that I have. You expect the fathers to pay child support, but you want to control when they can see the child. And you know, You know what I'm saying? And that's the dynamic of it. And I'm not talking about how many kids you have or whatever. I'm talking about the dynamic of those that use the system as a means to control the other person or get back at the other person. Because 9 times out of 10, you'll probably get more out of that in the first place. Listen, and I'm saying this, right? I had me and my son's mother came to agreement that, it was best for Robert to stay with me, everything that was going on. No problem. A lot of respect for that. With that being said, one thing about it was it never came a point of that I didn't make all my efforts to make sure that his mama was in his life. It never came a point where I was like, well, I control who says what, whatever. Even though, Larry, legally, I'm the custodial parent. That never even crossed my mind to be like, oh, well, you can't do this. You can't see him. Who gives me the right? Because at the end of the day, we're both equal parents. I get the dynamic. I cannot carry a child. I cannot have a child. I understand that mothers do it. Mothers go through a lot of different changes, a lot of different things, and they carry the child. They deal with stuff. They have an intimate experience with the child that as a man, we cannot relate to because we don't have that experience. But you cannot take the simple fact away that if they did not receive the seed from us, that child would not be there. So we're still equal parents. And that's what I'm talking about in this aspect of the respect factor being there. And it should be about the best interest of the child. Because if we be honest, a lot of these mamas know they ain't the best thing for these kids. They know that. But they ain't going to admit it.
They ain't going to admit it.
Because the court works in their favor. And if you don't think the court is not favorable to women and mothers when it comes to children, some states are changing the laws. But if you don't think that they are favorable for them in this aspect, you are greatly mistaken. And listen, I know that people going through things that can be a very sensitive subject, but let's just tell the God honest truth. If you can come to an agreement to keep the government out of your business and you doing what you got to do for the child, take care of the child. What's his name? The comedian Earthquake. He was paying overage for years to the point to where basically he was finished paying his child support payments almost a year early. And his child's mother didn't plan on it. So when the money stopped, now they want to try to say like, oh, he a deadbeat and he ain't giving her no money. I done paid you overage all those years.
In Alabama, you pay overage. You don't get no money back. That money at all.
That's a gift.
That's a gift. Charge it to the game.
And I'm being honest with you. I'm gonna say this: if you need that money so much to take care of the child, why that child can't go with the daddy? Now we don't want to have that conversation, Larry. So that's conversation we don't want to have. Because now, wait a minute. Now, y'all two dudes, y'all talking about it. Well, if my money, if the income from what I make is so necessary to provide for the child, then why can't the child come live with me? If I'm responsible for keeping a standard of living that a child, if I'm responsible for keeping a standard of living for a child, if they living with the other person, why can't they live with me to maintain that standard of living?
I agree.
We don't like having these. Go ahead, Larry.
I just think it's really too easy to me. Like I said, at the end of the day, it should be about the child. And then what you're doing is really not benefiting the child in the child's best interest. Then automatically, somebody say, I'm wrong. I need to change. I don't care how much you hate a joker. At the end of the day, it should be about the child. Now, I'm not saying everybody's situation is the same. You got some daddies out there that don't need to be around their children.
No.
You got some mamas that don't need to be around their children. It's different. Different situations for different people. But this individual is a stand-up person or stand-up guy and it just didn't work out. You shouldn't use the child,
but Larry,
to get back with the dad.
Larry, let's just be honest, man. It's a double standard.
It is.
Let me tell you the double standard. You seen it when Mary J. Blige got divorced and her husband was seeking spousal support. Boy, they drug. Hey,
men don't supposed to do that though.
But I'm just saying, but that's a double standard though. they drug through them. Oh, he gold digger, this, that, and the third.
Men shouldn't have spousal support.
But you know, that's a topic that I want to bring up, and like Mayor Rossell said earlier, though, like that's what we need to do, and those are things that impact the community. Because think about the second and third order effect of that, right? You got some mothers that use that to keep the father out of their life, right? And that's what it is so true. Chris Hill Jones said, co-parenting is so necessary. Listen, it is so necessary, and the best interest of the child has to be the focus. That's all. That is what I'm talking about in this. The best interest of the child. Sometimes as a parent, you got to be honest with yourself. If you're not fit enough to take care of the child at the capacity of what they need to be taken care of, then it's probably good to have them go with the other parent till you get yourself together.
When I used to host my men conferences in Marion, I used to have mothers call me and ask me, can they bring their sons? And I would have a private class for them because they were saying, I'm a woman, I don't know about raising no man. You know, I'm having a hard time with him. He's a teenager now. I can't cope with him. So, you know, men are relevant. You got a lot of fathers that have removed themselves from the situation because they don't want to deal with the foolishness with the baby mom. You know, I was kind of there one time, but I can't blame the child for something that the mother have done. You know what I'm saying?
But a lot of them jokers sorry.
A bunch of them sorry.
Listen, I don't want to. We ain't advocating for them sorry jokers.
A bunch. I ain't talking about this. I'm talking about some good joker that just got tired and said, man, for my own, mental state, I need to get away. I need to separate. But the child still is the one that's gonna be hurt in the end. I understand our mental health is critical. But at the end of the day, the child is the one. But these mothers were crying out for help because those fathers were not present in those young kids' lives, and a few of them right now are in prison. Yeah.
And Larry, I was a single dad for like 2 years, and one thing that I realized was it took a lot more effort and energy for me to be a nurturer than it did for me to be a provider. It not saying that I couldn't do it, but I had to be deliberate about it, and it took more out of me. And so what I started doing, I realized okay, I had some friends of mine, some female friends, we had served together at Fort Riley, and she already knew Robert, so she had a young son. It was so helpful to just go and take him over there and sit down and just kind of let them love on him and do certain things, so I can kind of mentally, I was mentally, me getting up going to work, there wasn't no problem. Me providing, there ain't never been no problem. And just acknowledging that piece, right? And not you know what I'm saying, if me got my baby girl, bruh, can I raise her? Yes, I can. Do I know she need her mama? Yes, she do. And I ain't finna sit here and try to be like, oh, I can do it. Listen, she don't need her mama. I'm her dad. I can teach her how to be a woman.
No, you can't.
Listen, if you hear dude talking about, I can teach my daughter how to be a woman, I'll be like, bro, what you talking about?
Something wrong with that dude. Something wrong with that dude.
I can teach my son how to be a man. You can teach him to be a responsible adult.
Robert, I'm tripping right now. My baby it's around that time for my baby, and I pray, Lord, don't let it happen while she with me, because I'm gonna freak out. I'm just I don't want to, but I know that's something I'm gonna have to deal with, because I have a daughter, but that scares me, man. I ain't ready for that.
And Robert Tabb made a great point. He said, just because he ain't a good lover, husband, does not make him a bad father. Clear your head and make the best decision. And that's what I'm speaking on with this. Most of this is rooted in people upset because the folks probably don't want to be with them no more. And, that's all I'm saying. It hurts the kid in the long run. That's why I started off talking about the statistics, talking about stats and looking at that. And if we look at that in the black belt, and the one thing about it is, don't be lying to these kids like their dad ain't trying to be there when you was the problem to keep them away.
Please don't do that. Please
don't do that. Don't be. I'm telling you, don't do that because that happen more often than your dad. Man, that joker got tired of dealing with you because you was on a power trip. I'm talking about both ways, both male or female. You was on a power trip. You try to use them to get back and hurt them because you hurt because they didn't want to be with you no more.
Mm-mm. And that goes on so much, believe it or not.
Because a lot of times, Larry, listen, we're gonna piss on. A lot of times they wanted you to get them pregnant because they thought they were gonna keep you there. But you already communicated to them before that you didn't want to have nothing to do with them. But hey, they're gonna get you. And Miss Stark said,
you up.
Hurt the child. It said it is natural for the man to be a provider. It is natural for the woman to be the nurturer. It is natural order of things. Once people understand this, life will be much better for them and the children. That is so true, man. And I wasn't unaware or try to convince myself like, no, that ain't it. No, I was like, okay. I was like, you know, I knew I had some shortfalls and I wasn't afraid to ask for help. And at the end of the day, it should be about this. So if somebody dealing with something right now, and listen, I would tell you this, I could not stand I couldn't even look at a picture of my son mama when we got divorced. I ain't even like looking at her phone number on the phone, bro. I'm being honest. I'm not lying. I'm being honest. And I could remember driving through, if I'm driving from Augusta, driving back to Alabama, she was in Atlanta. I got to go through Atlanta. Why can't I just call her and let her know, hey, look, I'll be coming back through. I'll be coming through Atlanta during this time. Do you want to meet up and see Robert? So we'll meet up at a spot. They get something to eat. I'm sitting on one side, you know, I'm looking at my phone while she's talking to him. I'm in my head, I'm cussing her out in my head while we sitting there. But guess what? She's spending time with her son. Because no matter how mad I got at her, that never would change the fact that she his mama. Now, relationship, we friends and ain't no issues, no nothing like that, because we came to understanding that it was best interest for Robert. She made a decision that it was best for Robert to be with you. That's why he was with me. And I've always respected her for that.
And that took a lot. I know it took a lot. I know that took a lot for her to admit that.
And her biggest thing, though, with that is not so much that she knew that it was the best decision. It was having to deal with what everybody else thinks.
Yeah. Girl, you crazy. You gonna let that baby go. Girl, you out your mind.
Yep. That's why I said I always respect her for that. I always will. I always have, always will. And I just want to talk about that dynamic, man, because that's something that happens a lot and that impacts a lot of people that listen to us on the black belt or in the black belt. And the second and third order effects, we see that when we see all these incidents that happen, you know, and we just want to be able to have that to where, you know, we can say, if we can save one or two, we can change, you know, you can change. Yeah, it ain't going to be good at the beginning. You still going to be pissed off. I got it. Right? You still going to be pissed off. Man, I'm telling you, it took a while, bro. I ain't getting on here acting like, oh, well, I just felt like, you know, we was blowing dandelions and stuff. No, bro. Like, bro, it took everything in me to call to be like, hey, I'm coming through. You want to see him? Me, then look, the pettiness in me, like, I hope she says she busy. Because listen, this is the petty. I hope she says she busy because I can say that at least I called.
Mm-hmm.
But no, that was her son. And I went out and made sure, boom. I left home early, left Alabama, come back early so I can spend a few hours so they can be there. Sometime I'll drop off. I remember one time I dropped him off. I went and got a hotel room, spent the night. Just so he could spend the night with his mama. Got him the next day and we left. Like, bro, like, because it was about him, man. I didn't make it about me. And that is so many of us make it about ourselves where we end up hurting our kids in the long run. And our kids are trying to figure stuff out as young adults, and they having problems in their relationships and everything, all because of the choice that one of the parents made. So, man, you know, Duck on here in the comments, he was scared to come on tonight, man. So I'm gonna call him out on that.
Yeah.
He said she made a grown woman. She talking about my son, mom. She made a grown woman decision, but and Miss Agnes said some women are wrong to do what they do. They are young men who urge men to be with them, and that's so sad. Yeah. Listen, you watch them paternity shows. The women be knowing that. I ain't gonna get on to that. But what you got going on this week, man? Got school?
Man, I just started back school, man. Just trying to get my mind. This is my second year of my MDiv. So yeah, it's the water getting deeper. I ain't in shallow water no more.
You ain't shallow water. Hey, so let people know that don't know what MDiv is, what that is.
It's the Masters of Divinity. So yeah, it's getting a little, it's getting a whole lot deeper. So I'm just trying to stay focused. I got to go to Virginia. I got some class online in February. I got to go on campus. So I'm praying it won't be as cold as it was the last time I was there. But I'm just ready to get this over with. It's the Lord's will in March of 2024. My degree will be conferred, and I'll be marching in May of 2024.
Look at that. My mom said it was 7 degrees up there at Fort Drum this morning.
So,
and it was snowing. Miss Stark said, I'm not with my son's father, but he's always in his life every day. They talk on the phone with him twice a day. And that's all it's about. I'm being honest with you. That right there is what it's about. And I talked on my show yesterday, the power of respecting, maximizing, respecting, and appreciating relationships, right? Life is too short. And when you value relationships, when you value certain things, it does something to you. That's why I traveled all the way down just to surprise my son. I was able to surprise my family. Spent some time with my grandson. We was taking a bunch of photos last night. That little joker know he can eat, man. That joker don't want to do nothing but eat all day. So, man, I just going back, man, getting back at work, celebrating. We got Martin Luther King Day tomorrow. I know some people having parades throughout. I know they had some stuff going on in Augusta this weekend. Celebrating the Dr. Martin Luther the King birthday, federal holiday. I see some people, man. This one bank, I can't remember the name. They had put on there closed on Monday to honor Robert E. Lee and Dr. Martin Luther King. I was like, bro, man, just the ignorant level, man. It's just like
Just put we close on Monday.
They said we close on Monday if it bothers you that much.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna listen. I don't care if they said basket weaving holiday. If I get a day off, I'm happy for it. I ain't got to celebrate it to appreciate my day off, but
no, they're real.
Miss Jones said, her birthday tomorrow. So hey, happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday.
Birthday to you. Happy 25th birthday to you. Oh man, she said the People Bank had that sign in Greensboro. Listen, if you bank with them, if you have an issue with it, take your money out.
Yeah, I would say the same thing.
If you have an issue with them, take your money out. But hey, man, we really appreciate you guys. Oh, I'm sorry, 16. She'll be 16 tomorrow. Hey, I'm laughing, Larry. It's a guy that used to stay next to us who grew up with my granddaddy, and everybody called him 16 in Uniontown. And the reason why is he told everybody he was 16 by 10 years straight. Everybody just started calling him 16. So thank you so much for rocking with us, tuning in. We appreciate it. We hope information was put out tonight that's helpful. I will tell you thoughts and prayers also for that. And again, make sure, you go to our page. We talk about NACA. Tomorrow is in they're having it both in Akron and in Greensboro. The flyers are on the Black Belt Experience page. If you're looking to purchase a home and establish and build generational wealth, please make sure you go out and you leverage those resources. Great opportunity. And we just appreciate you guys more than what you know. You guys have a great and wonderful week. God bless.
Peace.